scenes, they were the thinkers and the doers, making things happen each and every day. Doing the work that nobody else wanted to do. They couldn't always prophesize from the pulpits, but they led the charge from the pews. They were no strangers to violence. They were on the front lines. So often they were subject to abuse, dehumanized, but kept on going, holding families together. Mothers were beaten, gassed on Bloody Sunday. 4 little girls were murdered in a Birmingham church. Women made the movement happen. Of course, black women have been a part of every great movement in American history. Even if they weren't always given a voice. You know, they helped plan the March on Washington, but were almost entirely absent from the program. And when pressed, male organizers added a tribute highlighting 6 women, none of them who were asked to make a speech. Daisy Bates introduced her fellow honorees in just 142 words that were written by a man. Of course, Marian Anderson and Mahalia Jackson sang, but in a 3-hour program, the men gave women just 142 words. That may sound familiar to some of the women in the room here tonight. The organizers even insisted on 2 separate parades. Male leaders marching along the main route on Pennsylvania Avenue, and leaders like Dorothy Height and Rosa Parks relegated to Independence Avenue. America's most important march against segregation had its own version. Separation. Black women were central in the fight for women's rights, from suffrage to the feminist movement. And yet, despite their leadership, too often they were also marginalized. But they didn't give up. They didn't let up. They were too fierce for that. Black women have always understood the words of Pauli Murray, that hope is a song in a weary throat. It's thanks to black women that we've come a long way since the days when a girl like Ruby Bridges couldn't go to school. When a woman like Amelia couldn't cast her vote. When we didn't have a Congressional Black Caucus and its 20 women members. Focusing on women tonight because I want to know how much we appreciate them, how much we admire them, how much we love them. And I want to talk about what more we have to do to provide full opportunity and equality for our black women and girls in America today. Because all of us are beneficiaries of a long line of strong black women who helped carry this country forward. Their work to expand civil rights opened the doors of opportunity, not just for African Americans, but for all women. For all of us, black and white, Latino and Asian, LGBT and straight, for our first Americans and our newest Americans. And their contributions in every field as scientists and entrepreneurs, educators, explorers, all made us stronger. Of course, they're also a majority of my household. So I care deeply about how they're doing. And the good news is, despite structural barriers of race and gender, women and girls of color have made real progress in recent years. The number of black women-owned businesses has skyrocketed. Black women have ascended the ranks in every industry. Teen pregnancy rates among girls of color are down, while high school and four-year college graduation rates are up. That's good news. But there's no denying that black women and girls still face real and persistent challenges. The unemployment rate is over 8% for black women, and they're overrepresented in low-paying jobs, underrepresented in management. They often lack access to economic necessities like paid leave and quality, affordable child care. They often don't get the same quality health care that they need and have higher rates of certain chronic diseases, although that's starting to change with Obamacare. It's working, by the way, people. This is in place. Just in case you needed to know. And then there are some of the challenges that are harder to see and harder to talk about. Although Michelle, our outstanding, beautiful First Lady, talks about these. Michelle will tell stories about when she was younger, people telling her she shouldn't aspire to go to the very best universities. And she found herself thinking sometimes, well, maybe they're right. Even after she earned 2 degrees from some of the best universities in America, she still faced the doubts that were rooted in deep social prejudice and stereotypes, worrying whether she was being too assertive, or too angry, or too tall. I like tall women. And those stereotypes, social pressures, they still affect our girls. So we all have to be louder than the voices that are telling our girls they're not good enough, that they've got to look a certain way, that they've got to act a certain